Oh, good morning. It's me, Lou Fernandez. I'm sitting in my car. Why? Because it's a Tuesday, and this is alternate side parking day, and so it's alternate side talking day. This is episode number 3 of Alternate Side Talking. I hope that you're having a wonderful Tuesday morning. I never do, because I have to be up parking my car super early. And today, I'm joined by another intrepid soul by the name of Jeff Scherer.
Cheers.
Cheers, Jeff Scherer. How are you? Oh!
I'm good. How are
hey,
you?
look, your wife just joined. Very exciting times. Look, you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but she's judging you from here.
This never happens on TV. You can't say,
it.
you can't, like, David Letterman can't be like, hi, honey, and then see that she's watching.
That's true.
David Letterman, by the way, that's my current reference.
That's a modern thing. I mean, he's been off the air for a while, so if he says hi, honey, to
it
the
probably
air,
would work.
Well, if he's at home.
Yeah, when he's just doing his morning show.
Yeah, if he's
in his kitchen.
If he's anywhere else, he says hi, honey, people would stare. They wouldn't know who he was talking to.
Especially because he's got that creepy beard now.
I know, he looks nuts.
A tramp.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he looks a lot like this guy on 23rd Street who just sits and smokes cigarettes all day with a sign that just says, please help, or cigarette.
We have our own guy in Windsor Terrace. He's usually nice. He does sometimes have conversations with the imaginary people that follow him around, but then other times he's completely lucid and can ask me for change and that sort of thing. And,
do you support him?
But he also draws on all the posters in the subway, which is kind of cool. Like he writes like sort of like schizophrenia nonsense on all the posters.
Oh, really?
So you'll have like Julia Roberts, whatever. It'll be like 9/11.
Jeez.
like
whoa,
Medgar Evers, blah blah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
But that means at some point he had some ability to ingest pop culture.
Yeah.
Which is the baseline for being a human in this society,
exactly.
Right? So
we are pop culture consumers.
That's right.
Our evolutionary imperative.
He has worth in our society.
Yes.
As a sign scribbler. In the future, when there's no jobs to be done,
right?
Because of automation.
Yeah. Like player piano.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you have a sign scribbler, maybe a career.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure there's already some kind of computer nerd working on an automated sign scribbler with an AI that makes about as much sense as that schizophrenic guy.
Have you heard, by the way, that one of the Scandinavian countries, they're testing like a sort of what they call like a base salary?
Yes.
I think that's it. Like,
I think other people have proposed it here.
Yeah.
It's sort of like hey, we're all going to lose our jobs to robots, and either there needs to be a sustenance wage just for being alive.
Yeah.
Or we're going to have some kind of
revolution?
War.
Yeah.
To kill half of everybody and make room.
Yeah.
Lebensraum.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I was thinking more about that. I'm reading this book, Sapiens, which is all about the history of humankind. And has that
everybody should know Jeff's an egghead when it comes to books and learning stuff,
Yeah, no, take it away.
So, Sapiens.
So it's kind of Guns, Germs, and Steel, where it talks a lot about... I just read this whole chapter on the agriculture as nature's biggest fraud or something like that, because it basically tricked us into lifestyles which are, I mean, this was also covered in Guns, Germs, and Steel, but the idea that it tricked us into a lifestyle, you think like, oh, it's great, we don't have to do what we used to do, and it's like foragers used to just spend a couple hours a day looking for food, just
right, the daily sustenance,
and they had better diet, and and they had exercise, and they didn't whereas later it'd be like, all we do is grow potatoes. There's no more potatoes, and then they just all die. So anyway, I have really gone off on a tangent here. So it made me. That's the morning.
That's the focus. It's alternate side talking. Now you can see. I want to show that this is the crew, the Tuesday crew, as I mentioned last week. Is brutal. It gets up. I woke up. My internal alarm clock went off because my phone died, and I had to run out here at 6:40, and this is one of the last spots on the block.
Yeah.
And there's still all these other cars that need to move.
Oh, boy.
I don't know where they're going. I mean, I checked my 311 app this morning, and alternate side parking still on. I'm gonna get tickets. Oh, fools! They don't know what getting up at 6:30 in the morning means. They'll find out.
Speaking of nothing we're talking about, happy birthday, Lou.
Oh, thank you.
Happy belated.
Thank you. Yesterday,
right?
Yeah, yesterday was my birthday.
Yeah.
It was a stone cold jam of having. I had a heartburn attack at work where I was like, I can't believe how much pain I'm in. It was great. And then what did I do? Oh,
it's like everybody's dream birthday.
I know. And then after work, I went and had a nice surprise with my wife. Nice dinner with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Then I came home, and she went to bed, and I watched Adventure Time.
That sounds like a dream day.
America.
Calgon, take me away
Yep.
to your dream life.
Oh, we need more Calgon. Ancient Chinese secret.
Was the heartburn triggered by anything in particular, or does anything in the world trigger heartburn?
I don't know what it was, but it felt like, I had a pill in the morning.
That can do it.
And I think I may have not have had enough water. It may have sort of irritated my esophageal lining.
Yeah, that can do it.
And, yeah, it was one of those things where I eventually had to lie down at work. If I, crammed Tums in my face and drank some milk, and then I was just like, I need to lie down.
Well, I have all sorts of questions there. Lying down for heartburn? See, that would be the last thing
I agree with you. I agree with you. I felt like I needed to not think about it.
Oh, okay.
So I and I know that lying down on your back, if I had actual acid reflux,
okay.
But I felt like something was really sort of micro bursting me. I don't know.
Yeah. And then
let's not get gross about it.
And then milk.
Yeah, milk always helps my.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to in college. I'd wake up with just a fire in my stomach.
Yeah.
And I would drink milk, and you just feel the milk coating the whole way down. That's an ice bath. And it would feel.
I guess that makes
good.
sense. Milk is supposed to, if you don't have a problem digesting milk.
Right, I don't know milk allergy.
Or even a lot of people have a slight lactose intolerance when you're an adult because we're not supposed to be drinking milk at our age. But
try finding someone to give you titty milk on a regular basis. And, maybe if ladies weren't so weird about it.
Baby got heartburn.
Yeah, I got heartburn. You got milk in that titty? I think of that approach. I'm going to try it on the subway.
I'm waiting for Rachel to send me gross sign. They don't have a vomit emoticon.
I don't know. Maybe they do. But, then, of course, you'd be like, what is this woman eating? Is she, she abstaining?
What if she just had Indian food last night?
Yeah, what if she's been drinking? She should have pumped and dumped before she got on the train and offered her bare naked.
What do I pay you for?
You don't pay me anything, mister. I'm giving you this titty milk for free. I mean, that's the secondary economy after the robots take over. You got sign scribbler, and you got human milk titty. I guess would be the job description. I'm not sure.
Yeah, human dairy cow.
Yeah. Oh, me thirsty. I don't know how you could approach in the future, but in the future society, it'll be okay. So for us,
I'm actually surprised that hasn't become a yuppie thing in
with
our cities yet.
I want you to wet nurse my baby, but also me.
Just you imagine having these little thimblefuls of human milk.
You want her to express it? I don't need to drink from the tap. Just prepare it for me.
You can totally see that on Chef's Table, though, right? The kind of thing we've lost touch with our roots. Take human milk and.
Yeah, I could see that.
And make a tiny human milk horchata, and I guess it doesn't make sense. Horchata isn't made of milk. It's made of rice water.
Yeah, something like that.
But actually, I was literally trying to think of how to make it more appealing, and cinnamon sounded.
Everything I want to do is make it less appealing, but still happen. So I'm imagining them being come and sample this fantastic, we lost touch, with our inner babies and whatever, and then six actual women
they put you
come.
In a giant couch, so you're cradled.
Not like old. Didn't Gallagher used to do a bit like that?
Ooh, did he?
Well, he used to have a giant couch as part of his set piece.
Sure.
And he'd be it was a giant trampoline, and he would jump around, and he'd find like a giant potato chip. Audience laugh. A quarter. Audience laugh.
Oh my god.
You know.
I missed out a lot on Gallagher.
What?
I did not. I mean, I knew he existed. I don't think, other than seeing like the 5 seconds, you know, that everybody's seen of like, it's a watermelon splash.
Really?
Like, I don't know his gags. Really.
Oh.
Giant couch sounds. Actually, it sounds fun.
He was, you know, in his heyday, before he became a sort of like, you know, standard racist weirdo.
Oh, he is a standard racist weirdo?
Yeah, there was the whole thing.
SRW?
Yes. There was the whole thing on Marin interviewed him. And he sort of, Marin kind of called him out for making these kind of, he makes kind of like fifth grader level racist jokes that are sort of like, you know, they're not very clever. They're the kind of jokes, and he said like these are the kind of jokes that you hear from children or like others from dumb kids, and you know, Marin just basically tore him ass, you know, so which was, I think, in my opinion, Gallagher wasn't doing himself any favors, but Marin was really like, here's my chance to stick it to this old hack.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny, but
take that, Gallagher.
Yeah, but in his heyday, before every show had to end with the watermelon smashing. And he had to do more and more elaborate watermelon smashings. You know, he had standard jokes, and he had all kinds of like weird, you know, environmental jokes that he would make, and you know, in the 70s and 80s, it was kind of clever. It just ended with this pageantry of watermelons being smashed.
I mean, he's certainly not the only prop comic at that
No,
time.
no.
I remember seeing one that I thought was pretty funny. You know, like, I don't remember the bits, but
Was it Carrot Top?
It wasn't Carrot Top. It wasn't Carrot Top or Gallagher. It was, I don't know, some other dude.
Was it Joel Hodgson?
I do remember Joel. I only recently saw Joel Hodgson's.
On SNL?
There was someone had, I don't remember if it was on YouTube or on, actually HBO has a lot of old comedy specials on it, but they had,
like they had a lot.
It was one of those like, you know, up
young
and coming,
comedians,
young comedians,
HBO's young
and it was like
comedian
Joel
series.
Hodgson, and
Let's
then
see, is it light out enough now to do away with these things? It's more of a natural light. Well, it's more flattering.
Guys, welcome to the day.
Joel Hodgson.
Are you
your wife is correcting us from the past?
Yes.
Damn it.
Are you excited for the new Mystery Science?
I am. I always liked Mystery Science Theater and never understood why it wasn't more popular, because as all things I like, they go away.
I mean, it was around for a long time.
It was, but I mean, in its original thing. Once, I'm a Joel fan more than a Mike fan.
Actually,
Joel versus Mike.
I think they have about the same batting average myself.
Yes, I think Mike is good.
Yeah.
And then once it left the Satellite of Love and went to like the weird galaxy controlled by weird gods.
Once Trace Beaulieu, once he left, then I was a little not into it. He's the guy who used to voice Crow, and then he left, and he was also the
mad scientist,
the doctor,
right?
or whatever. Yeah. So when he left, that I don't like those episodes as much. But
yeah, it got weird. Like less without the backstory of them being trapped in the Satellite of Love. Didn't like it so much, but and I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
I don't even know what happened to it.
I usually fast forward through a lot of those bits, anyways, even if it is Joel and Mike. It's mostly just them watching the movies I want. And to be honest, my favorite things ever are when they do shorts.
Oh yeah.
Like when they're doing old educational films.
Now, have you gone?
Cry laughing.
Have you been to any of the Riff Tracks events?
I went to one. Who did I go with? Wasn't you? Was it Trent? Trent. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm drawing a blank because I had so much fun. I forgot who I went with.
I don't know who you went with.
Sorry,
story is invalid. Never happened.
It was Trent. Oh, anyway.
I took my boys last year to see Mothra, which then made me have the Mothra. Asher won a Mothra costume, which was.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Terry Jin is talking about, he wants to talk about the car we're sitting in.
Oh, that's a good
This is a 2010 Subaru Outback. We looked at the Forester, a lot of road noise. Didn't like it. We were looking, Jody and I like to buy certified pre-owned, This car was probably a lease or something and was returned. And so, the person upgraded their lease. Look, there goes someone looking for parking space. Good luck, sucker. Tuesday crew. So it's a nice car. And they didn't have any, and then we came back, and they had just gotten this one. And it was a fantastic buying experience. Copel Subaru, unofficial sponsor of the show.
They don't know they're the sponsor.
They don't know, and they don't care. That reminds me. This is a car that has those recall airbags. So if we're in a front-end collision right now, there's a chance you might be peppered in metal shrapnel. I hope that doesn't concern you. We got a letter saying not to let anybody sit in the front seat.
Anybody?
Yeah, nobody. Not even a robot. They were very specific. But it took over a year for them to get, for whatever the company is saying, like Takata or some sort of Japanese company that makes the airbags, to come up with a solution and repair them all. Mm-hmm. And we just got a letter after literally a year saying like it's okay. So they've been expecting us to drive around with nobody in the front seat, like a goddamn chauffeur.
Assuming someone could be in your seat.
No, this airbag is fine.
Okay, it's just
the passenger side. If you live in a humid climate, like the pins that hold the airbag can get rusty and shoot off in your face if you're in a front-end collision.
Wow,
insult to injury.
Yeah.
Cherry Gin. This car has been a dream to drive in. We love it. It's nice. Yes, I will. Yes, that is a caution in all the manuals in Subaru. Please refrain from getting into a forward collision while driving. We like this car. It's nice. It's got a lot of room in the back. One of my pet peeves: whenever I look at buying a car, I get in the back seat myself, because if I have to sit in the back seat and it sucks, I will make whoever's driving his life a nightmare.
Yeah.
And so when we were looking for our first car, we bought a Honda in the end, but Jody wanted a Volvo for safety, and I got in the back seat, and it was like a misery. There's like zero space in the back of this like Volvo whatever. I won't I won't brand market the Volvo numbers, but and my wife, the back seat's uncomfortable, Terry.
Yeah.
How many times people do that? Is that a spoonerism where you switch the letters?
Yes, that's spoonerism.
So I did it. I apologize, Terry Gin. Jerry
Gin.
Tin. I'm sure people do that all the time.
Yeah.
I love a Volvo, but sitting in the back seat sucks.
You don't have to say.
At least of the sedans.
One thing talking about cars makes me think about how. So I've lived in New York for over 20-something years, and have never, so that means I've also never owned a car in my adult life.
Okay.
I've never bought a car. So, so when I'm at work and I have to call like regional sales offices and that kind of thing, like it's amazing the number of things that I can't talk about being in New York. One of those they're talking about cars, like, yeah, it's the new Subaru something, and it's got this and that, and I'm like, you can tell by looking at the I can't even fake it.
It's like the 40-year-old virgin.
Yeah,
where you're like, oh, the steering wheel, it's so rubbery.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? Have you ever? No, there's a piece of steel in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you guys know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
When the gas pedal honks.
Yeah.
What? No.
Yeah. So it's that way with cars. Plus, I don't really follow sports, so I don't know anything about. What did I mispronounce? Oh,
I mispronounced. I'm the only person who.
So I don't know. I can't really talk about sports. They'll be like, I'm going to the Timberwolves game, or I do know the Timberwolves are, but they'll say the name of some local college basketball thing, and I'm like, I can't.
You're a go team.
Do you want to talk about Rubens?
The artist or the sandwich?
Yeah, Rubens. Yeah. Either.
Or Paul.
I'm an expert on both. I'm a New Yorker. Expert on art and sandwiches.
Well, what about cars?
Yeah, I don't know anything about cars at all.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, you have a driver's license.
Can you? But yeah, I do have a driver's license. I rent a car. I just wanted to point out that you've got the Valentine's Day display over here that looks like underpants.
This is the house. There's a lovely house outside here on the block. One of 2 remaining little brownstones, and they put those are Women's March vagina hats or hearts, like they're crocheted.
Oh, well, that fits that they look
Things
like
like that.
underpants then. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Now I feel bad for calling them out. But just the way they're stretched out,
They are stretched. Well, you know, the people who live here are old, so you know, the stretched out theme applies.
I had this sort of like, as I'm looking at you, I'm just like seeing like a underpants behind you. Then I was wondering that.
It's a subtle message I like to send to everyone who sits in the car, like maybe underpants are in their future. Rachel's asking us to discuss why I have to move my car every Tuesday, why I'm sitting in the car.
I was actually wondering that myself.
In New York City, in order to keep the streets clean, they make you move the car once a week. It used to be twice a week, so they can bring a street cleaner through, and you know that's the theory. And they
Which is probably also to make sure people don't just like abandon cars and leave them there.
Yes, that's true as well. They all and so they supposedly a street sweeper will come through today and sweep the streets. I don't believe that happens all that often. It's just also a nice way for them to force you to make money. So it's a weird, awful, routine that you have to do. And then you have to sit in the car. You can't just move it and leave until the official time.
Oh, I see.
8.
Oh, I was wondering about that too.
But if you, on this street, Tuesday crew, you have to be in the car at 6:30 to move it. Otherwise, there are no spots.
Yeah.
People just get up early and move their cars. And you have to sit here because if a meter maid comes through before like 15 minutes to 8, they'll give you a ticket.
And
even though everybody knows you've moved your car for alternate side parking, they will give you a ticket if you're not in the car.
I did notice, by the way, that
De Blasio.
Because I'm used to the usual alternate side parking where it's just like, in this place you can't be here this 1 4-hour period
right
during the week.
There are some
these
streets
2 4-hour periods.
There are some streets that are like it.
But this one is literally
8 to 6.
It's 8 to 6 on this day is the only time you can park here.
Yep.
So it's just on this one day on Pineapple Street, all the cars are supposed to move over here.
Yep.
And then so you basically you do this and if you do this right, you always park on Pineapple Street.
Yes, so that's the benefit, is that the car is always on our street.
Yeah.
Like, across the street, we can see what's happening to it. I stay up
really
all night looking at the car, making sure no one's touching
just
my baby.
Wringing your hands.
Yeah. Oh, please, just do something. Does New York have a stand your ground law? Because I don't know if it applies to your car. If you're looking out the window and someone is doing something to your car, can you shoot them?
They probably.
In Florida, I think you could probably get away with it.
Probably can. Yeah, I would imagine in Florida you can get away with pretty much anything. Like,
now, Nate is saying that someday a real street sweeper will come and clean the streets.
Taxi driver
reference.
Yeah.
But I think also isn't like in street parlance there's a shotgun is a street sweeper. Or or is it an AK-47? I don't know.
Probably. That would make more sense for it to be an AK.
Could someone who's in a gang please let us know? Any of the Crips or the Bloods who are watching? I don't.
We're reaching. We have no preference.
No, I have no preference.
I'm not wearing. Well, I'm kind of wearing.
No,
I'm not.
That's not picking up as blue.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. So I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, please, no drive-bys.
Yeah.
Because, park bys.
I know they
alternate side parking.
I can imagine that's a big problem in Brooklyn Heights.
A lot of drive-bys.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
just ice cream trucks.
No, we don't have enough ice cream trucks. There is one.
Yeah.
Over here, but what are you gonna do? A lot of froyo. Boo. Who wants that?
I used to live in Williamsburg, and you go to McCarran Park, and then a not a fire truck, a ice cream truck would just park right next to the park. Which is fine, but they leave the music on the whole time. So if you're there for 6 hours, you're just hearing the same the same racist music like go over and over.
Pop Goes the Weasel.
Well, it's not. That if you heard that, it's not. It's not Pop Goes the Weasel exactly. It's apparently something racist. Like it has some racist pedigree. Check out Mental Floss.
Okay.
Mental Floss will tell you about it. But there's everything, or Cracked, or one of those.
I go to, for all my racist history, I go to Cracked Magazine's website.
Change one letter and it's more racist.
Oh. Which one?
I don't know. The Cracker.
Oh. You can't be racist to white people.
That's true.
That's right. White people can't be racist. Or no.
Well, but crackers can be really racist.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, they deserve our scorn then.
Yeah.
The Cracker Barrel. What was I going to say before? I can't believe you derailed it in racism.
I'm so sorry. About
You
ice
just
cream
love
trucks.
talking about racism. Oh, have you ever talked to Dan McInerney about his time driving an ice cream truck?
Oddly enough, I don't think I have.
Yep.
Or if I have, it's been overwritten by my
There,
Peter Guerrero.
he has an interesting story about the summer that he drove an ice cream truck. I believe it was only one summer. But how fiercely, like, they protect their spots, like their ice cream spots.
Yes.
You know, and that that it was just, like, insanely hot
Yeah.
inside the truck, and he'd be, like, sweating. And
Actually, I do think I remember him talking about this. But Peter Guerrero, I don't know if you know him.
the name sounds familiar.
He was also an improviser, also the lead singer of the mostly defunct BTK band,
Okay.
and a storyteller, and lately a potter.
As in he flings clay?
Yes, I don't know. Yes, I know
Okay.
that's the official term. I don't know if he actually flings it, but yes.
Or he spins it?
Yeah. He throws.
He throws
yeah.
clay, right?
Throws pottery. I don't know. Anyway.
Way to like, masculinize that. Not right.
So embarrassing when you're talking to the regional sales office and they're like, "Hey, I was throwing." You're like, "You mean fling?" The New Yorker. Anyway, but Peter Guerrero has one of his stories that he tells about, like the moth and stuff like that, was a whole thing about how he drove a truck for a summer and literally got into a fight with, I think, like a middle-aged Pakistani man, like,
Whoa.
who brought out like a pipe. And, like,
About what?
it was like the same shit. It was about like a park, like, about like, this is my spot. But then it just escalated back in their lot to like a full-on, like,
Wow.
a full-on, like, brawl.
Those Pakistanis, they really are known to defend.
I don't know if
their,
it's Pakistani. Am I
parking
wearing
spots.
Pakistani colors? I don't know if I am, but
That's I've never gotten into a fight over.
crescent on.
Are you? Oh, the red crescent.
Yeah.
Are you an ambulance driver in the Middle East?
Yeah.
Did you? I've never gotten into a fight over a parking spot. Certainly, many times, I've wished I could scanner someone who was stealing a parking spot and just blow their head up inside their car. But then I still wouldn't get the parking spot because they'd be like dead inside their car.
Right, sure.
But have I witnessed a fight? In high school. This is a fun story.
Would be pretty badass though if you shot the guy, and then you just undid his like emergency brake.
Put it into neutral so you can push him out of the way.
But
he really doesn't know about
hill.
cars.
Yeah. Well, I'm picturing, like, I've already pictured this in my head as a San Francisco thing. Almost.
Oh, so you just let him go down the hill. No, it's time to park.
Just like a badass thing.
With a huge accent in the background. He's petty. But so the day I graduated high school, I went with some friends over somewhere on the east side, and we were like drinking 40s or whatever, and we were sitting on a stoop. It was the middle of the day, and there was like two guys in weightlifting, like they're movers.
Oh yeah,
and like
the
sweatpants
belts.
and gray shirts and weightlifting belts, those like stabilizing belts. Yeah. And they had parked in some dude.
Yeah.
And it was like a guy with his son and his wife, and he was just like, "Can you guys move the car? Like, you guys park me in. Like, you gotta move the van." And they were like, "Fuck you!" And they got into this argument, and then like the guys started.
Did they just go straight to fuck you?
Yeah, the guys like, "I need to move my car," and they were just like, "Ah!" They started yammering back. And it didn't start with "fuck you," but it escalated to "fuck you" to one of the weightlifting guys taking the dad's son's skateboard and just clobbering him with it, with his own, and his son just being like, "Oh my god!" and just hitting him with the skateboard. And the other guy took off his weightlifting belt, and they were just beating this dude with with their weightlifting belts, and of course,
Had the dad? Well, there's so many stories. Had the dad even like thrown a punch?
No. He would have been suicidal to throw a punch. He was just having an argument with these guys about them moving their van, and they just throttled the guy, and
in front of his kid.
In front of his kid, and then got in the van and drove away. So like they actually moved the car in the end, but not after delivering a savage beating to this dude.
I wonder if they weren't actually movers.
You think they were maybe mobsters?
I think that maybe they were like
doing some sort of
thieves or burglars.
Through the lens of 20 years, I can't say if that's true or not, or 30 years. Oh my God, where's the time?
Yeah, we're movers.
Yeah, we'll move all your internal organs to the side of your body.
They're just coming out with, yeah, he just wants to move this TV.
Yeah, that's my TV. Can you please move your car? But yeah, so the moral of the story is just leave men with weightlifting belts alone. They're crazy.
Did you find that kid a new dad, or did the kid just grow up on the streets?
We thought about it. We were like, it was four of us. It was my friend Kostas and then these two girls, and we were like, should we form a commune and then raise this kid? But in the end, we were like, let's get another 40.
Here, kid, here's the rest of my 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's your new life as an alcoholic. Start now. Yeah. No, that kid grew up to be Bill de Blasio.
Really?
Yeah, he's the mayor of New York City now. Trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Builds character.
It builds character watching your father be beaten by two gigantic men. I hope my son gets to see it one day.
I'm trying to see the mechanics of someone beating you with it. It was like a leather
It was one of those
belt.
Big. I mean, it
like
wasn't
a really thick leather one.
Yeah, it wasn't like an easy thing to beat him with, but he did a good job with it. Either way, I have seen. I've told the story not on this show, not on the show, but I saw a man beaten with his own belt on the train.
Jesus.
Where this is in the 90s. I was coming home from work, and it was late, and there was like these two African American gentlemen, and one guy was dressed more nicely, and one guy was dressed more street, and I forget like what started it, but basically the more refinedly dressed gentleman started berating this other guy, being like, you're the problem. Like, people look at you and they look at they think you're a piece of shit. Like, you're an asshole. You dress like garbage. You need to respect yourself. And the other guy was like, fuck you. And they started getting an argument. And then the nicely dressed gentleman was like, someone needs to teach you a lesson, and took off his belt and was like, I'm going to whip you. I'm going to teach you a lesson.
Wait, what's the age difference here? Were they like the same age?
Yeah. Yeah, they were about the same age. And long story short, this gentleman picked the wrong person to approach about his adult whipping, and he started to I'm gonna whip you, and the other guy just was like, whip, just beat the shit out of this guy. And I mean, we're on the train just being like, holy shit. Did
anybody else do anything?
No, I mean, how do you approach somebody who's in the act of physically beating a person with their own belt and be like, hey, he's had enough of belt whipping. I mean,
hey, pal,
please don't whip me. I'm just trying to make peace here. For me, it was more of just saying. It happened between one train station and the next, like between 50th and 57th or whatever, and it was like, holy shit. And the guy, the guy's pleading I'm sorry, oh my God, stop hitting me, I'm sorry. And then, and this guy just threw the belt down and just ran out of the train.
Wow.
And then the guy had to sort of pull himself together and be like, do you put your belt back on after it's betrayed you? by whipping you with another man's hand. I don't know how that's
like
going.
there's been so many like stories that I've seen or haven't, or like seen myself or had people tell me about the subway, and usually it's like whoever does the beating is, obviously the monster, like
Yes,
almost
yes.
always like they're a terrible person who resorts to violence. But in this case, like someone comes to you and says, "I'm going to beat you with a belt," like the most condescending,
Yeah.
like
Someone needs to teach you a lesson.
Someone needs to teach you a
I'm
lesson.
gonna whip you with my belt.
Yeah, after that little lecture about class and like class levels and that kind of thing, you're kind of like, well, I feel like that guy had a belt beating coming to him, like, with his own belt.
I'm going to teach you a lesson. Here's my belt.
I'm going to give you a
assault
weapon.
me.
I'm going to give you a weapon.
No, it's the worst. That was bad news.
Yeah, I saw some huge dude. It was this guy was on one side of the subway, and I didn't see what had happened, but I think apparently he had made some kind of lascivious comment to these two young women across from him. And
Maybe he asked if he could drink their titty milk. As we discussed earlier, will be a job in the future. Anyway,
that could have been it.
Nice
That would have
callback.
explained a lot now that I think about
yeah.
it.
He might have been a time traveler.
But yeah, so what I see coming into this is that there was just the two women berating him nonstop. They were just like, I'm just gonna do this, and that's all. So I don't venture into anything. But
they were nuns.
Yeah, exactly. But they were just giving him shit, like saying all like just and laughing hysterically and this guy was like Luke Cage size. He was just like, at least in my memory, he was like just massive and just like this. And, and finally, he after this went on for like 2 or 3 stops, and then he just like smoke coming out of his head. He just got up and just punched one of them in the face.
Oh, snap!
And the subway car, it was crazy what happened, because like 2/3 of the subway just ran in the other direction, and then there were like a bunch of us, mostly like well-meaning but not quick. I mean, quick, reflexes towards superhero, but not having any. So there were like 3 or 4 white guys who were like, "Hey!" walking up, like, "No, stop!" But and it did, but it was like it ended up when the woman got hit in the face, they lost their minds, and it turned into this whole it wasn't. It turned into a whole fight.
So he didn't. No,
but she was like trying to kill him, and then it was.
But she did.
She didn't get like her ass.
Oh, she didn't get knocked out.
No.
That's the lesson.
Yeah.
When you punch a lady, you gotta floor them because they go crazy.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
It's like trying to give a bath to a cat.
I know, nails. Woof.
But anyway, yeah, he ended up running, and the police were trying to find him, and we were all. So I was late to work that day, but it was just watching this for a long time, just like the women just constantly insulting him, and him just sitting there like,
Wow.
And
bravo to that guy. Ladies.
I mean,
I'm sorry, ladies. Sometimes you poke the bear, you get the claws. You know what I'm saying? Right? High five.
I feel like
okay.
that. Well, I was sort of impressed by that woman that her reaction was not to like, oh my God, what have I done, and run in the other. I think if that guy hit me, I'd be like, cool, I'm sorry for everything I've done.
Hold on, do you want my belt?
Yeah.
Say you didn't do a good enough job assaulting me. That's insane. I don't ever think I've seen like a full-on fist fight on the train.
I saw one guy they were in dispute over a seat. It's like one guy got the seat, and the other guy's like, and the guy pushed into his seat, and the other guy's like, "No, what are you doing?" And then he was like holding onto the pole, whatever, and then he got up with his arms and just kicked the other guy in the face.
Oh shit! That's when you know.
And then it turned into a not a very well choreographed
slappy fight.
Yeah, slappy fight. Yeah.
That opening move, though, you gotta respect the opening move. That's to lift yourself off the ground and then jam your feet in someone's face. Oh, brother. That's awful.
Both of them, too. Not even just like...
Right. It was, yeah.
It was just like...
Yeah, you gotta do like he was flying through a window, like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I like that move. Did he say showtime before he did it? Like, I'm glad that that's over. That the showtime
Yeah.
has stopped. For
Mostly.
those who don't know, showtime is when a group of youths will jump on the
It's not
train.
completely over.
Well, they cracked down on it pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
At one point, so it still happens, but not on the numbered lines. You know what I'm saying? These alphabet jerks.
It often used to happen on going across the Manhattan Bridge.
Right.
There was
Well,
also,
they have to do
like-
like the longer stretches.
Do you remember the guy who I don't know if you ever had this guy on your train, but there used to be a guy who, when you were crossing the bridge, would play his like soprano saxophone, and he had like this rig that played like
No.
background music. I hated this guy so much. And it wasn't even like, I used to play saxophone.
Sure.
Shout out to Betsy Todd, who hates saxophones. And so I'm not anti-saxophone. I'm not anti-busking necessarily.
Sure.
I'm a little bit, I love the guys who come through and like doo-wop some, religious-y doo-wop song.
Sure.
Yeah,
This little light of mine.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm always down for that. But this guy was just so loud, like, and you're trying
yeah.
to listen to your own music. I'm probably got like Radiohead on or something
Uh-huh.
like that, and this guy's like, this terrible, like smooth jazzy like rig that he's got, and like just piercing, not particularly good soloing sort of thing.
Yeah, it's been a while since then. Was he actually trying to get money with this terrible music?
I think so, but I don't even think that was his main. I feel like that wasn't even his main goal.
I'm pretty sure I've told you about. There used to be a guy when I would go to Columbia on the 2-3 who would sing reggae. Did I tell you about that guy? Like he had an insanely deep voice, like Froggy from the Little Rascals, which is a very current reference.
Yeah.
But he would sing like this into the radio. He had a thing that was playing
Like that guy from
music.
the G.I. Joe video.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the
Yeah.
song from the G.I. Joe video?
I don't remember, but those were just re-released in HD.
I just saw it.
They were pretty funny. But so this guy would sing songs that had 3 parts. So there were songs about fucking almost exclusively, and he would do he'd do like a lady's part, a guy's part, and the narrator's part. So he'd be like, and then me tell you,
Was it?
me got me girl, me da da da. Put on the butt, sit on it, sit up on it, sit up on it. And then she, me sit up on it, me sit up on it, sit up on it. And he would, and everyone in the train would be laughing at this guy. He wasn't trying to make money. He was just singing his reggae into his I don't even think he was recording it. I think he was
like
just,
a speaker.
yeah, it was a speaker playing like reggae, like, and he'd be like, she come over here, roll out her teeth, me suck on the teeth, suck on the teeth, suck on the, suck on me teeth, suck on me teeth. And like all the women on the train would be like, especially the Caribbean women would just be like weeping, laughing. And he knew that they were laughing at him, but he would just sing these absurd songs about sex for the entire way.
Oh
And
my God.
the song, I was stuck in between stations with him for like half an hour one time. He never stopped singing, and I mean the entire train was laughing at him, and he was just like, this is a story about a girl and a boy, and then it would just be all about fucking.
So you don't think he was trying to make people?
It wasn't. I think he was just doing his own thing because
Yeah.
it didn't matter if people were paying attention to him or not. He just did it,
Yeah.
and he always wore like the same trench coat with he was always wearing a suit. He was like a guy with a job apparently. Who likes this?
Welcome to
sing
Reggae on
terrible
the
reggae.
Spectrum.
Yeah, so super weird, and I sort of miss it.
No.
There's actually video if you Google. Someone shot video of him doing it. On
Oh
the
yeah.
train.
What would I look under?
It probably
Reggae
like
train guy.
New York subway reggae singer
Yeah.
because it is a unique position. Well, we're coming up here on. We're past the time when the meter maid would come.
Oh yeah.
So that means that we've come to an end of the show. Thank you, Jeff, for coming and sitting with me and chatting with me in the car. Jeff brought his own coffee this time. So there's coffee, but once again, I did not provide it. So
I did send you a text. To
I
ask
know,
if
but
you
my
wanna
phone
come.
was dead.
Yeah.
I was charging it when we. But next time, I will have coffee. I promise. Thank you again for coming, Jeff. Thanks to everyone who tuned in to Alternate Side Talking with Lou Fernandez here on Pineapple Street. This is a misery. See you later.